Ray Phillips, welcome.
Thank you.
To, actually I should point, as you pointed out, Milestone Bellanovas,
yes.
Free accommodation. No, we thank them for their boardroom. Thank you, Barbara. And welcome to Business Insider.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. We'll talk about the past. 13 years,
yep.
but only 3 years on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Where were you initially?
I worked out of my home office in Newport.
Oh, right, okay.
And then we moved up from the northern beaches and moved on to the Central Coast when I found out we were having twins. So, good reason to come north.
Twins do change your life. I know. Look,
yeah,
I'm only 28, but
yep.
twins have changed me to the person I am now. So,
yep.
Anyway, enough of that.
Mm.
The 3 years, well, it also coincided with taking a bigger footprint,
yep.
in terms of business. So where is your business spread now?
I guess what we wanted to do, what I was keen to do, was to be able to build the business so that it would work into our life.
And before you go into your life,
yep.
because not that Inspire Success is a strange name and often accused of not taking you exactly what you do. Can you
yep.
just explain what Inspire Success is?
Well, we're human resources consultants and workplace relations specialists. So we work with systems and the legislation and the frameworks around people in work, and we work with the relationships and the communication with mm-hmm. people in work.
And
basically.
That is from hiring all the
yep.
way through to
yep. we follow the employee life cycle.
Right.
So it might be working with a business to find out what sort of people they need if they're building their business. So we help them do their workforce planning. Mm-hmm. We can help them do their recruitment and selection. Setting up good systems so that when they come on board they experience a good induction program and they understand the expectations of them in terms of performance and behaviour and all of that. Helping improve retention, and that might be around performance management and helping to improve productivity and all of those types of things that are attached to that. We're doing a bit of work with employee engagement, so what can we do what are the things that are involved in the employee value proposition?
So you are a full-on HR department?
Yeah.
For companies who don't necessarily have the need or for a permanent group?
Correct.
Okay.
And we're all generalist HR specialists. Mm-hmm. HR specialists. Generalist HR people.
Grammar's not your expert. We can work around that. We'll probably cut that out.
It's the morning.
Yes, cut that out. And you have twins. That's a whole lot of things. I guess the biggest opportunity is to talk about, okay, the transition you had in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. Were there strategies in place?
Well, originally the plan was let's go out and see if there is a market mm-hmm. for a human resources person on the Central Coast. And initially I thought what the market would be was what I'd done in the past, and I would work on a project for 6 months or for 3 months or a month, and then I'd move on to the next business. And it was one business at a time mm-hmm. whenever they had work. So I thought there was a bit more of that. But then when I went out and started joining all of the networking groups and small business groups and then asking questions and testing, and I realised that there wasn't a market for that, and that the majority of the businesses were much smaller than I had experience with before. And that a lot of people didn't really get what I meant when I said I'm a human resources consultant. And so over time I learned to use different language and different sentences, I guess, to describe what we did. And now 3 years on, we're working with 30 or more customers. 1 month to the next might be 5 to 15 or 20, and there's a group of us now. There's 2 of us in Sydney and three in Sydney and 2 on the Central Coast. Okay.
And they all are virtual?
Yep, they all work from their home offices.
Members?
Yep.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
What's the next 12 months look like?
I think we're going to consolidate a bit. We've had a lot of growth in the last 6 months, to the point where each of us is almost working at capacity. So because the majority, all the people who work with us, they all have their own family commitments that they want to meet. So a couple of them can only work after they drop their kids off to school and before they pick them up. So there's a limited capacity there. But then what I've noticed over time, even in 3 years, is that sometimes that changes. So the capacity might change from 3 days a week during, 10 till 2 to 4 days a week, 2 of them 10 till 2 and 2 of them 3 till 5.
But they've got their flexibility.
They're starting to, they get a bit more used to managing the kids stuff and the work stuff as well.
Okay. Consolidation, I come from a marketing advertising background, means let's just hang on to what we've got now.
Yeah, let's make sure we do things well.
Okay, we're talking about the same
we
thing.
really want to check our systems, because we had that a lot of growth in this year. This year, calendar year, has been very good for us. We're working on making sure all our procedures are documented, and by experience we know that's a good idea, and that people know what they're doing. Especially if you tell your
clients they need to, it'd be good if you did too.
So, yeah, exactly. So doing that sort of thing, checking in with the customers that we're not working with every month, making sure that they're going okay and being more proactive with that. I guess when you get busy, you're waiting for a call. You're not really waiting for a call, you're so busy, and then a call comes in. That's sort of how it's been.
Yeah. If we look at surprise, well, the size and the model that you came up here to work on changed, your language changed. Smart business people do that, don't they? They land in a strange place and realise all their language is wrong. I'm not a good business person, but I found that out too very quickly. Yep. The biggest issue that you think you're going to face over the next, let's go further than 12 months. Yep. Have you got strategies? You could be national if you find the right people. Is that where you'll go?
Well, I guess I have just the same challenges with staffing as any other business, just because that's our specialty and that's what service we provide. I'm enjoying having 4 people that I work with quite closely. So I suppose, yes, there is the potential and the opportunity to grow it. At the moment, I think I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, and we might just leave it for a little while and check, and make sure.
We'll get back to you on that.
Right,
yeah, we'll do it. We'll come back in a little.
I see great opportunities to do things using, selling tools and templates and things like that online, and working with people through using technology to work with people, so we don't actually have to be there with them. A lot of the customers...
Do you Skype your clients now?
Yeah. And some of the customers that we have, I haven't seen for a few months, and we're just in time HR, so they can call us 24/7, and they do. And so I've got an issue here. So we provide, we help them solve the problem and work out whatever needs to happen next. If we need to go on site, we will. Yeah. But there are some of those people who are, in the middle of nowhere. They're a long way away, and we don't need to. They don't need me to, and it works better for them.
That's cool. We should get round to the rant. What gets up your nose, young lady?
Well, I guess as my business is growing, I'm really understanding everybody else's issues with tax and government. But the other thing is that in the size that we are at the moment, there's quite a lot of service and things available for a micro business, and I tapped into a whole lot of that when I was first starting up. And then once you're turning over $2 million, there's even a whole lot of services and support and resources available. But I think we're in a bit of a no man's land. It's almost like, that
you're not small enough to get that,
and I'm not big enough
to get that. Yeah.
That's what I had noticed over the last couple of months, actually, talking to different people in the different support agencies. Sorry, you got too many staff, or you're earning too much here, or sorry, you're not earning enough. And you don't have enough resources here. So it's sort of, when they say that moving from a small business to a medium-sized business, there's that critical mass almost.
And that's it.
And it's really hard to get over that and make that change. I think it's almost like that, moving from my experience, moving from a medium to a small business.
That's a really interesting, and we share that with Business Insider. That's a great point. That's a great point, and you're the first one who has thought enough about that to bring that up. Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one who's been looking for stuff.
No.
I'm sure I'm not.
Let me tell you, we're looking. We're looking. Okay. The Central Coast is changing. What do you see as the most, I guess, violent issues? Or not in any sense other than where are the changes coming from and what should we be aware of in the employment area and that handling of HR?
Well, I guess what one of the things that comes to mind is that the businesses that we're working with who have some connection with the NBN are doing very well. But the issues that they're having is finding talent. So it's really hard to find the people with the skills and experience and qualifications that they need to be able to roll out the work that they're doing. So I guess it's an age-old thing, the talent shortage. But what we're also seeing is that even part-time work in admin, it's hard to find staff. So once employers get them, what we're seeing with the improved number of businesses, or the increased number of businesses that we're working with on the coast, is that they're much more conscious about setting up some good flexible workplace arrangements.
Right. So they're more sensitive.
Yeah, and more understanding of what they need to do to keep the good people.
Is there anything we can do about that skill shortage? What's the solution to that? Do we need to import it, or?
We definitely need to import it, and we've worked with a couple of businesses who are in entertainment and media, and they import from all around the world, and that's just the way it is. They're almost a movable population, and they move wherever the next movie is or work is. But I guess it's got a lot to do with our ageing population too, doesn't it? So, in the latest Mercer survey that came out last month, they are very focused on providing some sort of retirement support for the baby boomers who probably should have retired but then lost all their money and have to keep working. So I think we need to be more conscious of working with that skills and knowledge base that we have with our older workers.
And are the employers seeing that older group as opportunity, or
sometimes
they're still to realise it?
Sometimes, and I think it's difficult too, because sometimes the older person who may have been made redundant or doesn't have their job anymore has an expectation that they still would like that work. And it's a fair expectation, isn't it? But
absolutely,
it might not always be the case, and it might not always be available. It's an expectation,
but often referred to as a hallucination as well.
I think sometimes there just needs to be a shift in the thinking from the employer's point of view, keep them on, maybe help them get used to the fact that they're not going to be working forever, but there might be a way of reducing their hours or setting up a mentoring system or something. And with the employees who are looking for work, managing their expectations, because there might not be a skilled role available for them, but they might find an organisation that they really fit with, which they get just as much satisfaction from.
Okay.
It's
a changing environment.
Being open, I think.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My pleasure.